I'm here with Scott David Plumlee for Shipwreck Beads, and Scott is also the author of a wonderful book, Handcrafting Chain and Bead Jewelry. And what I love is the fact that we're actually going to be making the bracelet that's right on the cover. And it's done in a Byzantine style. So tell us a little bit about the Byzantine link.
Yes, Katina, actually it's quite fascinating. The Byzantine chain's been known throughout time and geography by many different cultures and names. In the British Isles, it was known as the King's Braid, and it was only worn by nobility. And if you watch the movie Braveheart, you'll see Mel Gibson is wearing a triple chain across his torso. In the Pacific Rim, it was known as the Bali chain from the island of Bali. It looks a little bit different, but it's still the same link pattern. In America, it's been known as the birdcage, as well as the Idiot's Delight, which is a pretty hilarious name. But we'll refer to it as the Byzantine chain as its most common
Well, I'm
name.
delighted that you're going to actually show us how to do this. So how do we get started with this?
Yes, ma'am. Well, most chains are made with round wire. I'm going to start here with sterling silver round wire. I'm going to cut off a small section of that.
Okay.
And I'm going to wrap it around a knitting needle mandrel. And so I start with a little tail, and I'm going to wrap. And I just keep my finger pressure right where that wire is bending around the mandrel.
It's pretty easy to wrap, which is great.
It is pretty easy. It's pretty boring and laborious. However, it doesn't require any electricity.
Yeah.
So you can so you can sit on the beach and make chain all day long. So once I get a coil going, then here's a longer section of it. And with side cutters, you're just going to cut off one jump ring at a time. And once you get a bunch of jump rings, like I have here, we're going to start assembling. Now, one note about working with jump rings is I always use flat nose pliers, come down to a square tip there. And with a jump ring, you always want to have the cut upward, and you're holding it on both sides, and twist it open to like 30 degrees.
Perfect.
And you're going to hook it through the chain. So a larger demonstration of what we're doing with the Byzantine chain is like this. And it's a pattern of 6 rings, so it's always 2 on 2 on 2. So the end pair of rings fold back on both sides, and then the chain has to turn 90 degrees as such, and it opens up, and right there in the middle is a rectangular opening where the next 2 rings are going to go.
Perfect.
So
I could actually see it.
and it just keeps a repeating pattern of that, of 6 on 6 on 6. So now let's go to the smaller rings, like we're going to be working. And so if we continue on with that, we add the next 2 on 2 on 2. So we've got that knot we just folded back, and 2 on 2 on 2. And again, we're going to fold back that top pair on both sides and open up the middle. And that's where the next 2 rings are going to go through.
So do you keep adding 2 at a time?
Yes.
Or 6 at, so it's 2 at a time, and then fold back, and then the other 2. Okay.
Then I would add my next 2 rings, and it would look like this. That's where they go in there.
Okay.
And
okay. There you go.
So we keep repeating this pattern until I have 7 inches of chain, like you see here, and then I've added an S-clasp to make a full 8 inches of chain.
So you make it a little bit longer. Now we could have some fun and add some beautiful beads to it. And I love that you've chosen some cut crystal and glass beads because, of course, they come in so many different colors that you can have a lot of fun with it. So what do we do with that?
Absolutely. Well, I've taken about 12 inches of beading wire, and I've attached it to this chain on the end pair of rings, and I smashed a crimp bead over both lengths of the beading wire to hold it in place.
Okay.
And then I added a 3mm clear quartz bead, and then a 6mm amethyst bead, and then another 3mm. So it goes 3, 6, 3, and then it travels through the chain, and I add another 3, 6, 3.
And you can see how you've just woven it all the way through to the very end. That's gorgeous. Let's take a look at the finished project so you can see how it all comes out at the end. It looks beautiful. And the nice thing is that Scott also brought along some different variations, how you can use different beads, and it just changes the whole look.
Yes, I particularly love the lapis beads. They're particularly lovely stone.
So you can do a choker, earrings. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Scott. This is the first time I've ever seen someone do Byzantine.
It's a pleasure, Katina. Thank you for having me.
Well, up next, we visit a consumer show for a visit with Jackie Trudy of Art Clay World.